Jake was a ranch hand who lived a life filled with hard work and quiet moments. Every morning, as the sun peeked over the horizon, he would rise with the roosters, ready to tend to the cattle and horses on the sprawling ranch where he worked. The land was vast, stretching for miles with rolling hills and open skies, making it the perfect place for someone like Jake, who found peace among nature. He had been working on the ranch since he was a young boy, learning the ropes from his father. With calloused hands and a strong back, Jake took pride in his work. He loved caring for the animals, especially his favorite horse, Dusty, who had been his loyal companion through many adventures. The bond they shared made the long days of labor worthwhile. Despite his love for the ranch, Jake often felt a sense of longing. He watched friends settle down with families of their own while he remained focused on his duties. Sometimes, as he looked at the stars twinkling above him at night, he wondered if there was more to life than just tending to cattle and mending fences. His simple routine comforted him, yet deep inside, Jake yearned for something unexpected, a spark of excitement that could change everything. He dreamed of meeting someone who would see beyond the rugged exterior of a ranch hand and appreciate the heart within. Little did Jake know that soon, his life would take an unexpected turn when news of mail-order brides spread through town. With whispers of women seeking adventure and new beginnings, curiosity filled his mind. What kind of woman would come to this quiet place? Little did he know how dramatically his life would change when fate brought one daring mail-order bride into his world. As the days passed, the town filled with excitement and chatter about the arrival of mail-order brides. Word had spread like wildfire, drawing attention from everyone, young and old alike. Townsfolk gathered at the general store, sharing stories and speculating about the women who would soon arrive in search of love. Clara was one of these hopeful brides, a spirited young woman with dreams as vast as the sky above. Hailing from a small town far away, she had grown tired of the routine life that offered little adventure or thrill. Clara longed for a fresh start and believed that love could be found in unexpected places. She imagined herself stepping off the train, greeted by a kind man who would share her love for the open plains and wild horses. The day finally came when Clara arrived in town. As she stepped off the dusty train, her heart raced with anticipation. The sun shone brightly, illuminating her red dress that danced in the breeze. Clara took a deep breath, ready to embrace whatever came next. She pulled her suitcase closer and set out to explore this new place that held so much promise. At first glance, the townspeople were fascinated by her vibrant spirit. They whispered about how different she looked compared to other women they knew. Clara's confidence radiated as she smiled at those around her, hoping to find a connection that would fill the empty spaces in her heart. However, beneath her cheerful exterior lay doubts about what awaited her in this foreign land. Would she truly find love? Or would this venture lead her to more challenges than she had anticipated? Little did anyone know that destiny was about to intertwine Clara's journey with Jake's life on the ranch, setting the stage for an adventure neither of them could have foreseen. Clara stood in the bustling town square, her heart filled with hope and a hint of nervousness. She had always been the dreamer in her small town, often gazing at the horizon and imagining a life filled with adventure. Growing up, Clara would spend her days reading stories of brave women who traveled far and wide, defying expectations and finding their own paths. Now, she was ready to write her own story. With each step she took, Clara's adventurous spirit shone through. The vibrant colors of her red dress fluttered in the wind as she walked, drawing the attention of onlookers who were charmed by her confident stride. She greeted everyone with a bright smile, eager to make connections in this new place. Clara was determined to embrace every opportunity that came her way, whether it was exploring the countryside or meeting new friends. As she wandered through the town, Clara's mind raced with visions of a future filled with love and laughter. She dreamed of finding a partner who shared her passion for adventure, someone who would accompany her on long rides through the hills or join her in stargazing at night. The thought of building a life together filled her with excitement, pushing away any lingering fears. Yet, beneath her cheerful exterior lay the weight of uncertainty. Clara knew that stepping into the unknown would not be easy. Would she find a kindred spirit? What challenges would she face along the way? Despite these questions, her determination never wavered. Clara was ready to break free from her past and follow her heart wherever it led her. As she ventured deeper into the town, she felt a sense of purpose guiding her steps. In her quest for love and adventure, Clara was unaware that fate had already begun to weave her story into that of Jake, the ranch hand who would soon play a vital role in her journey. As Clara continued to explore the town, her excitement was soon transformed into a sense of unease. Drawn by the breathtaking views, she decided to take a short ride out into the surrounding hills. The landscape was beautiful, with wildflowers swaying gently in the breeze and birds singing cheerful melodies. Yet, as she ventured further away from town, the peaceful setting began to feel more isolating. While taking in the stunning scenery, Clara suddenly realized how far she had strayed from familiar paths. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the landscape. Just as she turned to head back, she heard a rustling sound from behind some bushes. Her heart raced as two rough-looking men emerged, their eyes narrowed and filled with mischief. "Look what we have here," one of them sneered, inching closer while the other blocked her path. Clara's pulse quickened, fear gripped her heart as she recognized that these were not friendly faces. Trying to remain calm, she recalled the stories she'd read about brave women who confronted danger head-on. "I am just passing through," Clara stammered nervously, clutching Dusty's reins tightly as if they could offer her protection. The men laughed mockingly. "Passing through? How about we make your visit a little more interesting?" They stepped closer, closing in on her. With every moment feeling like an eternity, Clara knew she had to think quickly. She glanced around for a way out but saw no easy escape. Summoning all her courage, she shouted loudly for help, hoping someone nearby would hear her call. Just then, fate intervened as Jake happened to be riding nearby on his own horse. Hearing Clara's distress call pierced through his routine thoughts like lightning. Without hesitation, he urged Dusty forward, ready to confront whatever danger lay ahead and save the daring mail-order bride from harm. Hearing Clara's desperate call for help, Jake's instincts kicked in. He had been riding through the hills, enjoying the peaceful afternoon, when her voice pierced the air like a warning bell. Without a moment's hesitation, he urged Dusty into a gallop, determined to reach her as quickly as possible. As he approached, he spotted Clara surrounded by the two men who loomed over her threateningly. They were grinning with malice, their intentions clear. Anger surged in Jake's chest at the sight. No one should ever feel that kind of fear. With adrenaline coursing through his veins, Jake calculated his next move. He needed to act fast and outsmart these men. As he neared, he called out loudly and firmly, "Hey! Back away from her!" His voice boomed across the hillside, instantly grabbing their attention. The bandits turned to face him, surprise flickering in their eyes. They hadn't expected someone to come charging in like this. Jake dismounted swiftly and planted himself between Clara and the men, taking a protective stance. His heart raced as he assessed the situation. He was outnumbered but not outmatched. "Leave her alone," Jake demanded, staring down at them with unwavering resolve. The men exchanged glances, realizing they had underestimated this ranch hand's bravery. "You think you can scare us off?" one of them scoffed, stepping forward defiantly. Jake remained calm but poised for action. "I'm not afraid of you," he replied evenly. "But I won't let you hurt her." At that moment, Clara felt a surge of relief wash over her as she saw Jake standing strong against the threat. She knew then that she wasn't alone. This courageous ranch hand was ready to confront danger head-on for her sake. With courage ignited inside both of them, they prepared to face whatever came next together. After the danger had passed, Clara and Jake stood together, their breath still heavy from the encounter. The moment felt surreal, a turning point that neither of them had anticipated. Clara looked up at Jake, gratitude shining in her eyes, and her heart swelled with a mix of admiration and newfound friendship. "Thank you for saving me," she said, her voice steady but soft. "I didn't think anyone would come." Jake smiled sheepishly, brushing off her thanks. "I couldn't just stand by while someone needed help." He noticed how the sunlight caught the locks of her hair, framing her face with a golden glow. As they began walking back to town side by side, the tension of the earlier moment faded, replaced by an easy camaraderie. Clara shared stories about her small hometown and her dreams of adventure. "I've always wanted to see more than what I knew," she explained, excitement bubbling in her voice. "That's why I came here. I thought maybe I could find something extraordinary." Jake listened intently, surprised at how much they seemed to connect. He opened up about his own life on the ranch, sharing tales of long days spent in the fields and the bond he had with Dusty. "It's hard work, but it's honest," he said with a smile. "There's something special about watching the sun rise over the hills." As the two continued their conversation, laughter filled the air between them. They discovered a shared love for nature and a longing for deeper connections in their lives. The more they spoke, the more Clara realized that Jake was not just a brave ranch hand, he was someone who understood her desire for adventure. By the time they reached the edge of town, both Jake and Clara felt as if they had known each other much longer than just a few hours. A strong bond was beginning to form, one built on mutual respect, understanding, and a hint of something more that neither dared to name just yet. As Clara and Jake returned to town, their newfound bond was soon tested by disapproval from some of the local townsfolk. Gossip spread quickly through the small community about the mail-order bride who had come to find adventure and love. While many admired her spirit, others clung to traditional views of how a woman should live her life. One evening, while Clara was in the general store, a group of women whispered behind her back, their voices dripping with judgment. "What does she think she's doing?" one remarked. "Coming here looking for romance like a character from a storybook." Clara felt the heat of embarrassment flush her cheeks, but she held her head high, not wanting to let their words affect her. She had come to this town seeking something more than what her past had offered. Yet deep down, she grappled with the fear that maybe they were right, that she was stepping out of line. Meanwhile, Jake overheard the murmurs from the men outside the store. "She's not cut out for this life," one scoffed. "How can she possibly fit in here?" Their disdain for Clara stirred a protective anger within him. He knew firsthand that Clara was brave and full of potential, qualities that should be celebrated rather than dismissed. Tension began to rise as Clara faced judgment not only from strangers but also from some of the people Jake considered friends. As they walked through town together, he noticed disapproving looks aimed at Clara, and he felt torn between his loyalty to his community and his growing feelings for her. Clara sensed Jake's internal struggle and spoke up one day as they sat by a creek. "It's tough being seen as an outsider," she admitted softly. "I just want a chance to show who I really am." Jake looked at her, understanding what she meant. He vowed then to stand by Clara against any negativity and support her pursuit of the life she wanted, no matter the cost. Together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead in their journey toward acceptance and love. Clara stood by the creek, watching the water flow swiftly around the rocks. The sound was soothing, but her mind was in turmoil. After all that had happened since her arrival and the bond she had formed with Jake, she felt torn between two paths, one that promised independence and adventure, and the other that drew her toward a deepening connection with him. She recalled her initial dreams of coming to this town, a place where she could live life on her own terms. Even though Clara cherished the moment she spent with Jake, she worried about losing her sense of self. What would it mean to stay here and potentially give up her independence? Could she truly find love without sacrificing her freedom? As she considered these questions, memories of her life back home crept in. No one understood her desire for adventure there, and the weight of expectation had often felt stifling. The thought of returning to that life weighed heavily on her heart. But then she thought of Jake's steady presence, his kindness, and the way he made her feel seen for who she truly was. Would it be so bad to stay, she pondered aloud, glancing at Jake, who was sitting a bit away, giving her space while he carved a piece of wood with a small knife. His focus was serene, yet Clara could see the strength in him. He was someone who radiated warmth and understanding. In that moment, Clara understood that choosing a path wasn't just about independence or love. It was about finding balance, a way to forge ahead with her dreams while embracing the possibilities of a shared future with someone like Jake. The fear subsided, replaced by clarity. Determined to express how she felt, Clara stood up and walked over to him. "Jake," she started, feeling nervous but resolute. "I need to talk about what's next for me and for us." As they locked eyes, she knew she was ready to confront her feelings and decide how to move forward, either alongside him or on her own terms. As Jake carved the wood by the creek, he couldn't shake the feelings that had blossomed for Clara since their first encounter. Her adventurous spirit and unwavering determination inspired him in ways he had never imagined. He found himself reflecting deeply on his own life ambitions and what truly mattered to him. Jake's heart raced every time he saw her smile, and he realized that his simple existence on the ranch felt a little emptier without her presence. Each conversation with Clara further revealed her layers, her dreams resonated with him, stirring a longing for something beyond the comforting yet predictable routine of ranch life. While he had always been content working with animals and tending the land, he began to wonder if it was enough. Clara had opened his eyes to the possibilities that lay outside of his familiar world. The thought of possibly losing her ignited a flicker of fear within him, and he knew he had to confront those feelings. One evening, as twilight settled over the horizon and stars twinkled in the darkening sky, Jake took a moment to gather his thoughts. He watched Clara laughing and splashing water at Dusty, her joy infectious. In that moment, he understood that life was more than just routine, it was about connection, adventure, and taking risks. Jake realized he wanted more than just the ambient sounds of the ranch. He wanted shared laughter with Clara, late-night talks under the stars, and the thrill of adventure together. He understood that if he wanted to build a life with Clara, one that could blend their dreams, he'd need to move beyond his comfort zone. That night, as he prepared for their important conversation about the future, Jake resolved to embrace change. He wanted to show Clara that they could forge a new path together, one filled with love and excitement. His feelings for her transformed not only how he viewed their relationship but also how he envisioned his own future alongside hers. The sun hung low in the sky, casting warm hues over the ranch as Clara decided to take a solo ride into the hills, excited to explore a particularly beautiful trail she had heard about. Although Jake had warned her to be cautious, Clara felt a surge of independence and wanted to embrace every moment of her new life. She set out with a joyful heart, not aware that danger was lurking just beyond the bend. As she rode deeper into the woods, Clara's senses heightened, a shiver ran down her spine when she spotted a familiar figure ahead. Two men from before stood blocking her path, their faces twisted with malicious intent. Panic surged within her, she gripped Dusty's reins tightly, desperately thinking of a way out. "Back for more, are you?" one of them sneered at her while the other took a step closer. Fear tightened around Clara like a vice. Her heart raced as she recalled how Jake had saved her once before. This time, she felt utterly alone and terrified. Just then, the sound of hooves thundered through the air as Jake emerged from the trees on Dusty's back, his expression transforming from surprise to focused determination. Upon seeing Clara's distress, his instincts kicked in again. He quickly placed himself between her and the bandits. "Leave her alone!" Jake shouted, anger boiling in his veins as he faced the men. But he knew this was more than just another confrontation, it was a crucial moment that would define not only his feelings for Clara but also their futures. The bandits exchanged glances, sizing up Jake before one said defiantly, "You think you can protect her? You should have thought twice about getting involved." Jake's heart raced as he realized he faced an impossible choice, fight to protect Clara and risk losing everything or back down and hope they would leave without harming her. With every ounce of courage coursing through him, he made his decision, he could not turn away from protecting Clara again. As tension reached its peak, he prepared himself for whatever confrontation lay ahead, knowing that this choice could change everything for them both. The confrontation between Jake and the bandits erupted into chaos, but his determination to protect Clara sparked a courage within him that surprised even himself. With quick thinking and a fierceness fueled by his feelings for her, he managed to outsmart the men, forcing them to retreat. The adrenaline faded, leaving both Jake and Clara shaken but relieved to be safe. Word of the incident spread throughout the town quickly. Initially, some townsfolk were skeptical about Jake's actions. Instead of painting him as a hero, whispers questioned why he had put himself in danger, stirring up old prejudices against the newcomers. But as Clara recounted the events, emphasizing Jake's bravery and the true motives behind his choices, people began to listen. A few unexpected allies emerged from the shadows, Clara's fellow mail-order brides and some of the ranch hands' friends rallied together to support them. They attested not only to Jake's courage but also highlighted Clara's strength and determination. "She's more than just an outsider," one bride proclaimed. "She has proven herself brave and capable." Their words slowly began to sway opinions. The ice began to thaw, and conversation shifted from judgment to understanding. People started approaching Clara with fresh perspectives, some even asking for her thoughts on life and love in their little town. Gradually, Jake found himself at the center of a reconciliatory movement. As townsfolk grew more accepting, Clara felt like she belonged. Their bond deepened as they rallied together to promote acceptance and kindness, reinforcing what they stood for: change and love. As Clara and Jake stood together at the heart of the community during a gathering, they shared their story openly, inspiring not just acceptance but also hope. With newfound support from their allies, they embraced the promise of a future where they could pursue their dreams hand in hand while helping others see beyond narrow-minded views. Together, they were ready to shape a new path for themselves in this vibrant little town. With the townsfolk rallying around Clara and Jake, the couple felt a renewed sense of purpose. They knew they wanted to do more than just stand by, they wanted to build something meaningful together. As summer blossomed into full swing, they decided to take on new roles at the ranch, combining their strengths to create a vibrant environment that welcomed everyone. Clara embraced her passion for animals and nature, helping Jake with the daily tasks on the ranch while also starting programs that would involve the community. She envisioned creating workshops where townsfolk could learn about caring for livestock, gardening, and even cooking with fresh produce from the ranch. Her ideas sparked excitement among those who had previously doubted her presence in town. Meanwhile, Jake found himself inspired by Clara's vision. He took charge of maintenance and improvements around the ranch, making sure it became not only a place of work but also a gathering spot for community events. With Clara by his side, he felt more confident than ever in his decisions and leadership. As days turned into weeks, their partnership blossomed both professionally and personally. They shared laughter while working under the sun, late-night talks under a blanket of stars, and dreams that intertwined like the roots of an old oak tree. Their bond deepened as they realized they complemented each other perfectly. Jake's steadfastness balanced Clara's adventurous spirit. One evening, as they sat on the porch watching the sunset paint the sky in brilliant colors, Jake took Clara's hand and said, "I never thought I could find someone who understands me so completely." Clara smiled back, her heart swelling with affection. "And I never imagined I'd feel so at home here," she replied. In that moment, they both understood that their new life was just beginning, a journey filled with hope, love, and adventure awaited them. Together on their ranch, hand in hand, they embraced all that lay ahead with excitement and determination, ready to create a future defined by joy and acceptance.